No, we haven't done it in forever and a half. We haven't done a series of reviews that have spanned throughout the entire summer about one specific franchise. Last time we did that was 2014 with MLP Mondays, but I think we should do another franchise. So, I think we should do a little bit of a polling, and let's find out which franchise we're going to be doing this time. Ed, Ed, and Eddy it is. Ed, Ed, and Eddy is an American-Canadian animated series aired on Cartoon Network, created by Danny Antonucci and his production company, aka Productions. Airing from 1999 to 2009, the show lasted
130 episodes, 4 specials, and a movie, Eddy.
Exactly, Double D. So, where did this show come from? Well, according to Danny Antonucci, the show was created because someone dared him to actually create a kids' cartoon.
Coming up with the Eds was a big dare. Somebody dared me to make a kid's show, you know? And hey, who better to come to than me, right?
If you go back and look at some of Danny's older works before Ed, Ed, and Eddy...
Ah! God damn, I'm gonna die! Christ, fucking shit!
It definitely felt like something outside of his wheelhouse at the time. So determined to take on that dare, he did a quick drawing of the Eds, sent it to Cartoon Network, and 5 minutes later, the show was in production.
I did a drawing of Ed and Eddy, 3 characters, and faxed it over to Cartoon Network. Within 5 minutes, the phone rang, and they were very interested and thought it was hilarious what they were looking at. And from that point on, we started to develop the show.
Well, if it's that easy to get a show on Cartoon Network, that explains how Out of Jimmy's Head came to be. Unlike shows nowadays that primarily consist of 22-minute long episodes, this show had 2 11-minute episodes back to back. The very first episodes they had were the Ed-touchables and Nag to Ed. So let's start with those two. The Ed-touchables begins by introducing our 3 Ed boys. Double D, the super smart clean freak, Eddy, the loudmouth who's self-proclaimed leader of the group, and Ed, the dumb yet lovable muscle. As for this episode's conflict, it begins with Double D saying he can't find his magnifying glass, and then Ed's brat sister Sarah claiming that she can't find her dolly.
You know, someone has touched my stuff also. Really?
And the ships were set sail! The Eds are now on the case for this serial toucher, as they call it, as it comes down to Johnny, the neighborhood loner, who always hangs out with his imaginary friend Plank, a piece of wood with a smiley face drawn on. I'm watching you, and so is Poyo. Wait, why do I have a Poyo again? And then we get probably the world's greatest interrogation ever.
Okay, I did it! I took everyone's stuff! Oh, now let me go! I gotta go to the bathroom!
The true way to get an enemy to speak is through their bladder. And Johnny is punished by being put into a tire and rolled down a hill. But...
I found my dolly under my bed! Upon further inspection of my person, I seem to have come across my magnifying glass.
yeah, but it's okay. The Eds get their own comeuppance for punishing someone who was completely innocent the whole time. The second episode, Nag to Ed, has the Eds venture through the woods and they're being chased by something. And then they get knocked out, and when they come to...
do you girls know where our clothes are?
Oh, they're drying outside. You boys sure were dirty. We're gonna pop into the kitchen for a bit, boys, and fix up some home cooking for you.
We'll be right back!
Yeah, I'm with Double D on this one. I mean, when you guys were passed out, they took your clothes off, and then put robes on you. Something's clearly not right here. The Kanker sisters, as it turns out their name, seem pretty willing to be doing anything for the Eds. They clean their clothes, they feed them, they let them watch TV, but it seems the Eds overstep their boundaries as the Kankers then put them to work. And hilarity ensues!
Hey, Mud Tracker! You're tracking mud!
Mud?
But Eddy finally snaps back at them, the Kankers cry, and they tell them to leave. But...
That's it! Run, you cowards!
Get lost! And don't trip on your shoelaces!
Oh, look at them run! Just like a real man! I think I'm in LUV love!
And thus the relationship between the Canker sisters and the entire cul-de-sac were established. They just live and get pleasure out of seeing other people in misery. Sadists. As soon as the first 2 episodes were released, the show received a very mixed reception. Some people saying that you need to watch it multiple times to actually really enjoy it, and other people saying that the show came off as nothing more but childish and immature. But the Ed Boys surpassed their pilot because Ed, Edd n Eddy has been going on for at least 5 seasons. Well, we looked at the first 2 episodes, so now I think it's best if we look at the recurring themes in this series. Well, every episode kind of functions like a Three Stooges short. The Eds come up with a harebrained scheme, Eddie's a smartass, Ed is the dumb funny guy, Double D is the skeptical brains, and more often than not, the scams backfire.
Is that the support beam to the house?
What's a support beam?
This has been quite a day.
But every so often, there's a scam that the Eds have that actually goes off without a hitch.
That'll be 25 cents. Sold! I'm surrounded by idiots.
Why do the Eds come up with these elaborate scams? So they can make money to buy jawbreakers.
Candy!
And as for the show's tone of humor, it mostly relies on very old-school cartoon stuff, from wordplay...
Where'd you come from? Blame my parents, Eddie.
Sexual innuendo.
...to the defied laws of physics.
Hey, Ed, if you bump into me one more...
Guys?
What?
Improbable alert!
And if you haven't guessed by now, yes, that technically counts breaking the fourth wall gags.
Who writes this guy's stuff? I should have all the feeling back in my feet after this word from our sponsor, Double D.
Cursed broadcast commercialism!
Gankers! Extreme close-up!
First Pinkie Pie, then the Inspector Gadget movie. I hate cleaning after these people. This is why so many people have claimed that Ed, Edd n Eddy is written brilliantly. While the show has a lot of reference humor, the comedy doesn't really rely on it. The comedy comes from, like I said, more like a Three Stooges short, relying on wordplay and slapstick.
An eye for an eye. Get out. And a tooth for a tooth? Certainly. Get out.
You're a bug!
And thanks to Ed, Edd n Eddy, that's what got me into Three Stooges. I think the most poignant theme that comes out of Ed, Edd n Eddy is what Danny Antonucci wanted to do with this show. Nostalgia for childhood. He says he was inspired by things like the Peanuts, and he said he wanted to make a timeless show that represents kids having fun outdoors. There's something really sentimental about this theme because it really applies to anybody, which makes the show incredibly relatable, whether you're 5 years old or you're 50 years old. Everybody has that sense of childhood, and this show kind of services as a way to look back at the time when kids would just hang outside and enjoy their summer vacation. So we've looked at the show's history, the first few episodes, and we've looked at the recurring themes. Now it's time to look at the show's actual run.